I'm all for reading motivational books, but the danger in reading them is you get addicted to reading and consuming more motivational content. You end up having this false sense of achievement because you have read it and you read more and you consume more. So what ends up happening is you develop your shelf, but you don't develop yourself. So if you want to be more effective and push past some of your limits, keep watching. So there are two types of motivational books. One that develops specific skills, and when you learn the skills, you feel motivated to go and continue learning. And then there are another type of motivational books which help you in all areas of your life. So those are the books I'm going to talk to you about today. The first is Becoming by Michelle Obama. The biggest takeaway for me was why not me? Michelle Obama overcame a lot of prejudice. Like when she was thought about applying to Princeton, the career advisor advised her against it because of her background. And these small slights can have a big impact on your self-belief and where you believe you belong. And it can easily hold you back and stop you from putting yourself out there. So what I loved about Michelle Obama's book is wherever she went, she thought, why not me? So this book can motivate you to reach out to areas where you might not consider exploring. So in my example, when I decided to enter into the field of becoming a motivational sales speaker, if you look at the landscape of the types of speakers, they're 99% they're white men. I could easily have looked at that and thought, well, clearly I don't belong there. That voice in my head said, why not me? And that simple seed of a thought, why not me, can help you change your actions and your behaviors. Where are you holding yourself back by saying, that's not really for me? Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Biggest takeaway for me was to dream big and visualize the end result. I am aware that Arnold Schwarzenegger got into some trouble in his personal life for his behavior. But that aside, you cannot deny what he accomplished. He became top of his field in not just one area, but 3 areas. Bodybuilding. He became Mr. Universe year after year. His action movies were a big draw in the box office in the 80s and 90s. He became the governor of California. And he did this all by, well, not only working hard is a given for all of these books. What I learned most from Arnold Schwarzenegger was dreaming big, but also visualizing the end result. What I also loved about Arnold Schwarzenegger was his appreciation of the discipline of selling. He understood that he needed to learn how to sell. A lot of other actors felt that selling was beneath them, but he knew that he had to get rid of his ego, roll his sleeves up and get more involved in the selling, which really helped catapult his global success. The next book is Sherdog by Phil Knight. He's the co-founder of Nike. Now, the biggest takeaway for me with this book was be patient and be persistent. So we know how uncertain the path of carving your own path is, right? And it can also feel incredibly lonely. And any of the mistakes you make feel magnified, have extreme negative reactions towards them. But reading about someone else's path and how they faced similar struggles as you is incredibly empowering and motivational, because it makes you feel less alone. And when you don't feel like you're the only one making those mistakes, it helps quiet the voice in your head. Educated by Tara Westover. Biggest takeaway, start wherever you are. Wherever you are is perfectly fine. So often in life we don't pursue a dream or a goal because we think it's too late. And that timeline, we're comparing ourselves to others. What I loved about Tara was, the fact she was homeschooled. It was haphazard homeschooling. Took it upon herself to learn. And she applied to university. Now she so easily could have thought, well, I'm so behind. I'm almost maybe a decade behind all of her peers. So why maybe I shouldn't. But she did. She just started wherever she was. And she got into university. She got accepted at Cambridge simply by starting wherever she was. So reading this book reminded me and reinforced this message in my head that it's never too late. You are running your own race, and the only timeline you're working towards is your own. You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Biggest takeaway is overcoming your mind. Now I have to be honest, I almost quit on this book. It was too shouty, too macho, and too sweary. Until I checked my habit tracker, where previously I might miss a task and say, I'll move on to the next one. Since reading that book, I pushed through and did that extra task. David Goggins overcame his mind with extreme physical challenges, like several world record attempts at doing the most chin-ups in 24 hours. And he would run ultramarathons back to back. So I felt these were rather extreme, but that was his way of overcoming his mind. But you can find your way of overcoming your mind. Maybe you want to grow your customers. So overcoming your mind could be making one more call when you don't feel like it. Or if you've got fitness goals, it could mean doing one more rep. If you push through and took action one more time consistently in different areas of your life, the compound effect of that can be life-changing. Reason for Hope by Dr. Jane Goodall. Biggest takeaway, patience, compassion, and hope. Reading about this kind and compassionate person who, at the age of 86, is still driven to give and serve and make the world a better place, filled me with so much hope. It's so important to fill your mind with positive messages of hope and compassion, because it offsets the negative messages we are constantly battered and bombarded with externally. And hope is an incredibly powerful motivator. Now the key is, before reading one of these types of books, is to have goals. When you have these goals, you need to be very clear on what are the activities and the behaviors you need to adopt in order to achieve that goal. For example, if one of your goals is to run 5K in less than 30 minutes, the behaviors and activities might be more hill runs, more conditioning, more sprints, and more longer runs, whatever it might be, right? So there's very specific activities you know you need to do to achieve that goal. So when it comes to reading one of these motivational books, because they will move you, they are emotional, therefore they will move you. They act as a little flame, create this explosion of energy, but you're going to direct that energy into a positive area in your life. Because without having clear goals of where you can direct that energy, what the danger is, as I mentioned earlier, is we will go and read another book and another book and another book. If your goal is to read more books, that's perfectly fine. But I'm guessing you want to take action in other areas of your life too, right? So that's how you can get the most of motivational books. So I'd like to know, what's the most motivational book you have read recently? Can you share in the comments below? Or which of these books are you interested in reading? Share in the comments, I'd love to know. Thanks for watching Coffee and Wisdom. I'm Annie Kizelbash, and I will see you in another episode.